Hello everyone, my name is Hussain and welcome to our program. Today we are joined by Mr. Abid Hussain Malik, who is the Managing Director for Aqua Power Turkey and Kazakhstan. We'll be talking about his lifestyle as an expat in Turkey and what potentials does he see in the Turkish energy sector. So, welcome Mr. Malik. So my first question to you is, could you please describe your journey to Aqua Power Turkey?
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you very much for having me here. Coming to Aqua Power is a very interesting, not a very long journey, but a very interesting journey. First of all, as you know, Aqua Power is a power generation company, and I will talk about Aqua Power in a minute. While I was pursuing my engineering degree back in Pakistan from University of Engineering and Technology, Lahore, I developed a huge interest in thermodynamics and power generation. And that's probably how I ended up in a construction job after completing my degree. I ended up in constructing a large combined cycle power project back in Pakistan. And later on, I joined a US-based company called AES. AES used to have a portfolio in Turkey, which they have recently rolled back. So I worked for AES for more than a decade across the globe at various countries. And during this time, I developed experience of designing, constructing, operating, and developing power projects. And after working with AES for a decade, I joined Aqua Power. Aqua Power is basically an investor, operator, and developer of power generation and desalinated water facilities. Aqua Power is operating in more than 10 countries around the globe, and the core market of Aqua Power is basically in Middle East, South Africa, North Africa, and Southeast Asia. With an investment portfolio of more than $30 billion, which can generate more than 22,000 megawatt of power plus 2.5 million cubic meters of water per day, Aqua Power is eventually a power generation and production and a desalinated water company. Headquartered and based in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Aqua Power is owned by 8 Saudi conglomerates: Sanabil Direct Investment, which is owned by Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia Public Pension Agency, and last but not the least, IFC, which is a member of World Bank Group. Aqua Power vision is to produce reliable electricity and desalination water at a lowest possible cost. So that's how we serve the communities through socio-economic way. Aqua Power strives to adhere to its values of safety, people, and performance in the communities we operate. So I have been, in short, I've been working for Aqua Power for last 8 years. And as you rightly introduced, I am currently serving and supporting Aqua Power for its initiative in Turkey, Kazakhstan, and few countries in Europe as well.
That sounds very interesting. So, how do you find your life as an expat in Turkey?
Life as an expat, it's a very interesting story again. I fell in love with Turkey, and more importantly, Istanbul, as soon as I landed at Atatürk Airport. It sounds weird, yes it is, but I ended up in a taxi when I was when I landed in Atatürk Airport, and the guy name was Ilhan. And you must be wondering that how do I remember the taxi driver's name after a good 8 years? The reason was very simple. The guy was a very thorough gentleman and a very patriotic Turk. And last, that as soon as he realized that I'm from Pakistan, he started singing a famous Indian song called Avarum, which happens to be a very famous song in Turkey. So as soon as he started singing, he kept on insisting if I could sing. I ended up singing with him as well.
Maybe you could do the same for us.
Oh, no. He was for sure a better singer. Just a couple of lines. आवारा हूँ गर्दिश में हूँ आसमान का तारा हूँ आवारा हूँ. That's it.
Wow, perfect. Thank you very much, and you have a very nice voice.
Thank you. So After living all these 8 years in Turkey, living the people, it's all about people, and the fear of coming to a new land. I've crossed that barrier. I was very lucky after this, meeting this guy in a taxi, and after the way he took me, and he did not take me. I still remember. I asked him to take me very quickly to the hotel because I was very tired, and the guy took me through Sahel, and the beautiful view of Bosphorus and his chit chat and all that. For some reason, I crossed the fear of being an expat on that day, and after spending 8 years down the road in Turkey, I'm absolutely delighted that I don't feel like an expat in Turkey. It's like a second home for me.
It's very interesting. So, again, as an expat, what are the positive sides of working in Turkey?
Purely from an economic perspective, one of the important things for any foreign investor is that you don't need a lot of expatriates in Turkey. Turkey, you don't need expat skill, experience, and highly educated people. You need expat to transfer the knowledge, transfer the culture of that specific company. But being in Turkey, it offers you a lot of educated, experienced, skilled, and more importantly, entrepreneurial mindset people. So that's one of the most important observation I have made over the years. Second, Turkey median age is 30, and that tells you a lot. And this youth is one of the most important tool behind the phenomenal growth of Turkey. So when you come to Turkey, you'll find a very bright, stunning youth who are ready to make the change, who are ready to make the difference, whether it's a domestic investor or an international investor. Third important thing, access to the government officials, to the regulators where you need some guidance or support, especially if you're a foreign investor. That access is pretty easy. Number four, formation of a new company. Turkish government and promotion agencies have made it extremely easy, one of the easiest in the world. But yes, there are a lot of things where there's a lot of improvement needed in making sure that, for example, one of the improvement which in my opinion the government needs to make is to introduce a one-stop shop, one window. If the foreign investor comes here and he formed the company, but there are many other things he needs, instead of being a ping pong between various organs of the government, there should be one-stop shop where he goes, get his problems resolved. Because what is the interest of the foreign investor is to come, invest, and start producing results.
Correct. So we all have heard a lot about the Turkish hospitality. What do you have to say about it?
I'll be very honest with you, okay? Before I came to Turkey, I heard a lot of stuff about hospitality, and one of the most important phrase which I heard is, "You are God's guest." A very famous phrase. You come to, doesn't matter which religion you are, doesn't matter what language you speak, doesn't matter which land you are coming from, what is your religion, you are God's guest. I initially thought, to be honest, oh, it's a tourist destination, it's a marketing USP, so there may be no reality in that. But I was amazed that after these good 8 years, that God's guest is an underestimation of the hospitality exhibited by Turkish. I think Turkish hospitality is in their DNA. It's in their blood. You need to have a passion for being hospitality. You cannot impose or act as if your hospitality is great. So, truly impressed by the hospitality.
Turkey is considered as a cross-cultural two civilizations. So, being a foreigner in this country, do you believe that Turkey has multiple cultural influences, or is just one single culture?
Civilization, Turkey has a very, very long civilization history. From capital of Byzantine to the capital of Ottoman Empire. It's a very long history. And wherever there's a civilization, and there are multiple civilizations over last many centuries, and as far as wherever there is a civilization, when it goes, it leaves its mark of archaeology, it leaves its mark of art, culture, cuisine. And these are various marks. Strolling through this beautiful Istanbul, you start with beautiful 6 minutes of Blue Mosque, then you end up in Hagia Sophia, and then when you end up in Topkapi Palace, you are hugely impressed by how much history has been preserved under one roof. Unbelievable. And then here you go, you end up in a beautiful Grand Bazaar and Dolmabahce Palace. And all these historical places just in Istanbul offers you a huge civilization history. You move out of Istanbul, you end up in Izmir. You have Efes, you have a place where, as they call it in Turkish, Meryemhane, the last place of Meryemhane. You go to Cappadocia, you'll find natural carved churches and beautiful fairy chimneys. And all these things, and there are a lot of people, I mean, you go out and ask people, I ask you people if they know the history of Santa Claus. Most of them didn't know about it. When I tell them that the Saint Nicholas, who is popularly known as Santa Claus, was born in Demre. And then you go to Mevlana Rumi, a huge poet, a big poet, and the wise man of 13th century, who has influenced people spiritually across the globe. Then you end up with Shams Tabriz, another great wise man and spiritual person of 13th century. Prophet Abraham was born, it is believed that Prophet Abraham was believed to be in Şanlıurfa in Turkey. So you look at civilization, religious, beliefs, faith, languages, Turkey offers a huge civilization. And coming back to your question, what influence it has on the society, I think it has the few of these influences are freedom to speech, freedom to practice the faith you believe, the religion you believe, freedom to adopt the lifestyle you want to adopt. And this is one of the beauty of Turkey, that people are free to do what they want, and nobody, if I may use the word, poke their nose into other affairs. So one of the influence of its civilization is the tolerance in the people to accept other people's religion, other people's faith, other people's beliefs, other lifestyle. So that's what I believe civilization has influences.
That's a very interesting answer. So going through your profile, I learned that you live here along with your family. So what do they have to say about Turkey, and how do they like their life here?
I was blessed with my daughter in this country. So, and daughters are very close to their father. So this country is truly loved by all of us. I'm still struggling on learning few difficult words of Turkish, but as far as family is concerned, we feel extremely safe, extremely happy, and extremely blessed that we are becoming part of this society.
All right. So coming from a different cultural background, what do you have to say about the Turkish corporate culture, and how is it different from any other corporate culture? Let's say, for example, the culture of the US or any other European country.
Corporate culture and corporate governance, it comes with a long history. I think Turkey, there is a lot of room for improvement in the corporate culture and corporate governance, and it is not the fault of Turkey. If you look at last 2 decades, where the economy has truly boomed over the last 2 decades, there were family businesses, and some of them emerged as very huge conglomerates. And they have these family businesses have played a very important role into the growth of Turkey. And during these years, when these family businesses were growing, they were struggling They wanted to, grow in Turkey. They wanted to support Turkey, and it was an opportunity for them. Yes, they had a phenomenal growth, but during this time, the family business and the way family business decisions are made did not change. I think it was required during that time, because corporate culture always comes into a picture when the family businesses start, reach a sustainable stage. I think there is a very important need for the country that these businesses now start adopting a lot of corporate governance and corporate culture, empower their people, empower the management, and hold them accountable for making all those important decisions. It will truly help Turkey, and I firmly believe it will truly help those family businesses. There are a lot of companies, listed companies, for example, old businesses. They have a very good, some of these companies have very good corporate governance, but you need to have this culture continue to grow across all the family businesses, in my opinion.
So you have some great experience in the energy sector. So what potential as an engineer do you see in the Turkish energy sector, and how it could impact the world, and what sort of impact it could bring to the world?
Turkey has a very huge potential. Unlike many other countries across the globe, Turkey is very much blessed with water, with coal, with sun, and with the wind. Turkey today, the installed capacity of Turkey as of today is more than 80,000 megawatt. And if you look at last 20 years, and again, the reason I'm referring again and again to last 20 years, because it is the last 20 years where, in my opinion, Turkish economy experienced a phenomenal growth. The power demand has grown. Installed capacity always matched the demand of the power. And if you look historically again, the GDP of the country cannot grow unless electricity consumption grows, because manufacturing is always one of the key tool behind GDP growth. Things are going very well. GDP was growing, electricity consumption was also growing till 2013. Due to some geopolitical events and due to economy slowdown, there were investments which were under construction in 2013 onwards, and these investments continue to materialize. But when they concluded back in 2016 and last year, and due to economy slowdown, the demand decreased, and some of these investments could not produce the results they were expected to produce. I'm talking about the investment results, the returns which these businesses or these investments were expected to produce. The good part on Turkish government is, one thing could be, because it's a liberal market, Turkish government could have said that, thank you, bad luck, you guys were making money, the economy has slowed down, you're not making money, I don't care. But no, Turkey is an emerging market. An emerging market need to support the businesses, need to take reforms in the regulations, need to provide investment incentives and support mechanism. So in the energy sector, Turkish government has, more importantly, Ministry of Energy has introduced certain regulations and certain reforms, and they tried their best. Have they succeeded in that? To a little extent, yes. Because in the energy market, how does the foreign investor views the market? Because Turkey, since 2001, when the electricity market law was introduced, it was decided that the government is not going to invest in the energy sector, it will be liberalized. And when you talk about the energy sector, you talk about the complete supply chain. You're talking about gas, you're talking about distribution, the electricity, the distribution companies, which brings power to your and my home, to the industry, to the commercial, to this mall you are sitting in, to your office, to the industry. and the generations. It took 17 years for Turkey to privatize all these assets, and still there are a lot of assets which still need to be liberalized. So I think there are a lot of actions taken by the government to liberalize the market, but still there are a lot of actions which are still need to be taken to make sure that a foreign investor, when it views the market, it views that there is a very minimum state intervention and the market is completely liberal. So there is a potential in Turkey, without a doubt. Turkey is an emerging market. Turkey will continue to grow. But yes, the government and the Ministry of Energy support in liberalizing the market will further support the liberalization of the market.
So as a head of a leading multinational company, what do you have to say about the corporate social responsibility? I saw that Aqua Power has taken some corporate social responsibility initiatives. So what do you have to say about it?
Corporate social responsibility is an interwoven business for us. Now, we have a proper corporate social responsibility policy. We believe in one thing, and I'm sure you must have heard that: give the man a fish, you'll feed him for the day. Okay? Teach the man how to catch the fish, you'll help him for the lifetime. Okay? And this is what we believe. We believe in training. We believe in engaging with the local communities where we work. And that's how we make sure we provide these individuals the training institutes which help them in employability. Employability or starting your own business is far more important than I come and give a one-time donation to somebody. Because our curricular project, which is a 950 megawatt combined cycle gas-fired power project in Kirikale in the district of Jashian, we are supporting various training institutes under the umbrella of municipality and under the umbrella of Kirikale governorship.
Sounds very interesting, and thank you so much, Mr. Malik, for being with us, and we hope to see you again. Thank you very much.